Hello, everyone. This is Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live. I've been revisiting businesses that I interviewed early in the pandemic, and today is no exception. I'm going to introduce you to Rachel and Dustin Ryan. They are the owners of Zumapoke in downtown Davis. Hi, Rachel and Dustin.
Hello.
Hi.
So we spoke on April 8th, and at that time you were in a bit of shock. How are you now?
So I think that we've moved on to a little bit of survivor's guilt at this point. The shock has transitioned a little bit into the depression and like the emotional weight of realizing how long we're going to be in this, that it's not going to be short, that there isn't a vaccine or anyone riding in on a white, horse to save us anytime soon. It's going to be for the long haul, and hearing people's stories and how hard it is for everyone has become very depressing and very challenging. So I was in shock, but now it's like I fully realize what's happening, and that in and of itself is a tough thing to deal with. And talking to other business owners on this last couple months has just been heartbreaking because everyone's struggling in so many ways. And it really is. It's a sad time in the business community right now.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
When you say survivor's guilt, you were initially down 80%. You're down about 55%, but you're saying that's successful.
Yeah. So right now, right now, keeping your doors open is success. That's not possible for most businesses at this point. There's right now, actually, it's kind of interesting. Yelp just came out with numbers because they've been great doing real-time numbers. That 55% of businesses that have closed during the pandemic are not going to reopen, and they're confirming that they're permanent closures. So staying open is a huge rate of success, but also for us, like we've been slowly but surely building back our customer base. I think it's due to a lot of different factors. We had a great base to begin with of fans and people that we love that support us, but also keeping it safe and healthy and making people feel comfortable. But it still is not all the way back by any stretch of the imagination.
We're down 55% last month.
Yeah, down a little less. It's mostly due to us not being out doing all of our mobile food in markets. That's the biggest hit for us. But we still have people coming up and buying food. So right now we're good. We're okay. It can support us and it can support our chefs that we've kept on. But come winter, that's when us and everyone else is very nervous here in Davis. What is it going to look like?
A lot of people don't realize the dual seasonality of Davis.
Yeah.
We're friends with a lot of other restaurant owners, and the majority of those that I'm close enough to talk numbers with say that they borrow money to make it through winter anyways on a good year.
Yeah.
You're really making most of your money in spring, but the spring is not too good for too many people's bottom line.
Yeah.
So it's really scary because you're talking borrowing tens of thousands of dollars just to get through a normal year. Well, now we're going into a winter already down, and our peak season that's supposed to last through summer, through winter, was in jeopardy or was so far down no money that a lot of these restaurants are closing or going to close. I mean, on our block, I don't know what's up with the Thai place, if they're reformatted reopening, but it looked like they were going to try to be a ramen place and a Thai place, and maybe that's usually the sign of a closure or a near closure. But Bistro 33 is out, and so literally out of 3 restaurants on the block, you got them maybe closed, open, and closed.
Yeah.
And that's not indicative of all downtown, but I read a stat that 75% of restaurants that are non-chain are probably going out as a result of this pandemic.
Yeah. That's just frightening because that takes away the special nature of our downtown areas and the creativity and the uniqueness that we so value in small businesses. Yeah. I do think it does have a psychic impact on consumers who, once something is sort of shut down, there's a domino effect.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your employees. At the time we spoke in April, it was just the 2 of you and your chef. You've been able to add a couple back.
We have, so us working 15 hours a day, every 7 days a week, was getting so exhausting that we get 1 day off a week now, which is really nice. We have a couple of employees come in for that who are very nice enough to agree to come back and help cover for that, and for a couple of other little shifts here and there. So it's still predominantly just the 3 of us. But then we have just a little bit of part-time help too. And the rest of our staff is still not comfortable coming back.
We had 15, 20 employees by this time of year most of the time. So to go down, and while we are down, you know, it's not proportionate that we're doing 15 people's jobs ourselves, but that's not sustainable for that long. And so it has been a huge blessing just being able to get that. And it's tough too, because a lot of people don't want to come back up on appointment. They don't have to if they're afraid with COVID, and we wouldn't want to force them to or anything like that. But it is hard because you're talking about trying to hire, and it's like another layer of hiring because you want to hire people that are sheltering in place, or you know what I mean? Like there's a whole nother deal that is like tough right now. So
it is tough because when we bring people on, we have to know that they're not out like partying on Friday night, you know what I mean, exposing themselves left and right and coming into the restaurant. And so like
not just for us, for our customers.
Yeah, for everyone. And so there's this layer of like trust and accountability that comes into hiring also, you know, that's nerve-wracking on top of everything else.
Yes.
But so to answer your question, it really is mostly just the three of us.
For you two, complicating the matter in a lovely way, of course. Or you have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, but they're being cared for by your parents who are risk folks.
Yeah, so we're very lucky. We have full-time childcare from my parents who are retired, and his parents who are retired, but you know, they're exhausted watching 2 very little girls, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, you know, 60, 70 hours a week. And our daughters, you know, they don't understand why they don't see us anymore.
It's hard. You can tell, like our littlest one especially, she's more in mom's care than the eldest, right? And so she just hangs on her mom, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't get to see them like you wish you could.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the supply chain. How are things moving?
So that's been kind of an interesting ride. At the beginning of COVID, it was really bad. We were like driving around Sacramento. My mom was driving around, and everyone we knew, we were like, buy as much rice as you can. Like, we don't care if it's a 2-pound bag of rice for $15, just buy it. Because without rice, we can't get anything done. And it was very desperate from that end to now. It's kind of random things run out, like bowls a couple weeks ago ran out for us just because they're actually a whole like organic thing, but they come from China. It's a world-centric product that they do compostable bowls from all to.
Get back to it.
It's a really cool company, but they are based in China, and so things are getting really bad there again. So they couldn't get the bowls out, and so for a while we were out of bowls and out of lids, and we had to serve that. And getting gloves is still tough on the scale that we use them. So it's better, but it's not back to business as usual. And things crop up and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Like this is happening everywhere, and random city in China, or, you know, wherever gloves are made, like those folks are going through it also, and they're struggling with employees and can't get stuff out. So, you know, they can't get us their product this week or next week. And, you know, it just reminds you that that's happening.
Truly a global economy. I had a friend who was looking for a Chinese billionaire, was trying to just donate like millions of dollars
PPE
of gloves
equipment,
and could not buy it.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing a who do I know who knows somebody game, trying to help out this random billionaire guy that I don't know, because he's legitimately trying to help. You know what I mean? You want to do whatever you can to help stuff like that. And so it's a good friend of ours that was going to bat for him, and so making some phone calls and trying to find stuff. It's weird, like some of our wholesale accounts have let the public in, like the Costco for restaurants, Restaurant Depot.
Yes.
And that has caused shortages in products for us that is unforeseen, because they're trying to battle the like loss of business, right? Yeah. And so they're letting in people. Like there's signs that say, if you're not a business account, you can't buy the booze because it's all wholesale prices. Yeah. Right? It's just a weird.
But then you're competing with the public also.
Who's coming in to buy stuff, especially cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
What a lot of adaptation there. Speaking of adapting, you're in Open Air Davis. You're in your G Street.
We are.
Someone stole your shade. Is that right?
Yes, so we were so bummed because it took us probably, can you hold that?
Here, what we can do is just leave that.
So we took probably like 5 days, I would say, to set up our patio, and it really was not. Oh,
No, I just got to put it back.
We got
Figure out
the
a different way to do the back camera.
you have to edit this one.
That's all right.
There you go.
Okay, done.
We're good.
So it took us probably like 5 days to get this thing set up because we had to weight it down and get permission from the police department and the health department and get all of our stuff that's been in storage out here and buy these beautiful backdrops and like just plan a smart thing, right? Because we wanted a barrier between each table. And then we put it all together, get our lights up, and then come in the next morning and our top had been stolen. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, did the wind blow it off? But no, it was stolen.
The wind did not take 20 bungees off on either side.
And it was so it was a really hard week already because they had reclosed everything down and like so many of our friends were just very depressed because they'd felt this like optimism and surge, and it was exciting to be setting up our patios and feeling like we're going to create this cool space in Davis and like bring people downtown. There just was a lot of positivity around it. I literally had drafted a post on Facebook about like, this is what hope looks like this is the future for Davis. And then to come in and have that stolen was just such a kick in the teeth. And things happen, right? And I'm so upset in the moment. And like we were able to replace it and get it back up, but it just was the timing of it. And like when you're trying to build something and move forward and to have someone take that away was just a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, no one likes being stolen from, but it just felt like more to us than just a random piece of tinting being stolen.
Yeah, I mean, you make $1 something every bowl, right? So
yeah,
hundreds of bowls worth of work.
Yeah.
Working our butts off, and then you have somebody take it
Yeah.
before even your customers can enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
a
like
bummer.
To replace it is days worth of sales, and it just that sucks. So it was hard, both just the financial, but the emotional side of it was really hard too.
Yeah.
We're stoked. I mean, it's been really cool. We're really excited. We're really grateful to the Downtown Business Association, the city for letting this happen because like you come here on Friday, Saturday night, and like I'm telling people, customers that are, our avocado toast stand in Sacramento, like, hey, come to Davis. It's really cool. After dark, they close it down. It almost feels like this street should be closed down permanently. Yeah. Like it just feels right because you're next to bars and the restaurants, and it's really beautiful and the lights are on. I mean, we're trying to maybe higher up so we can actually have our patio open for more than a half hour with the lights are on.
Yeah.
It starts to get cool so much later in the afternoon, but it does feel really cool. It's been cool to talk to the other business owners that are down here setting up their stuff, and the sense of community is really strong, and that's nice.
Yeah.
It is nice to have that.
And I will say, like we mentioned earlier, Sacramento has been a little dicey on the mask wearing. Davis has felt, we're in both communities. Davis has felt, through farmers markets. Davis feels very safe and very compliant. So even though you have the patios down here, it still feels very safe to me because they are distanced. Most of them have like barriers between the tables and people are wearing their masks around it. So I feel like I have a very low threshold for putting myself at risk. And this to me has felt great out here. So, I mean, I think it's wonderful, and it's a great way for businesses to try to survive and do the safety compliance at the same time, which those two things have been very much at odds since the beginning of COVID.
It's cool. A lot of people are doing a good job with either Woodstock has a great check-in process, wipe down process.
Yes.
We haven't eaten out a whole lot, so I'm sure other ones are too. Yeah. We're handing out sanitizing wipes so that the tables are clean. There's really a lot of attention to detail and not required by the health department, mind you. Stuff that the businesses themselves are doing to protect their customers because they're so important to us that I think is really cool because you don't have a mandate to hand out sandy wipes, right? You don't have a mandate to have probably 2 extra staff than you normally need to check in for Woodstocks, but they're very safe. They're very much paying attention and mitigating the flow of traffic and cleaning properly, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Good to hear. I'll have to check that out myself. I'm just getting the nerve up to go out myself.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. The first time I went outside, I felt very weird about it, and now I don't know.
Yeah, we did Old Spaghetti Factory al fresco.
We did. It was so random. It was open late, and they turned their parking lot into a patio, and I was like, okay, let's try it. And then it really was totally fine and great.
I mean, we feel kind of obligated, right? Because like we're probably eating out more than before because how else is our industry going to make it if people don't eat out, right?
Yeah,
and so we have to
support as much as we can.
We're already out in the public. You're already, you know what I mean, taking precautions. So we're trying to safely do our part to support like our customers are doing for us.
Yeah.
Justin, I just wanted to finish by asking you about your new role as a consultant for the Small Business Development Center.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So before even COVID, we got a lot of help from the Small Business Development Center. We've had one of my friends kind of runs that finance center for NorCal, and before he was running a team, he was a consultant there, and so before he kind of got moved up, he helped us with we probably would have never opened our restaurant without him.
No, we wouldn't have.
He helped us find $100,000 in like 3 weeks because we were over on our construction budget. Like really saved our business before it even opened and gave us the rest, right? Like the community came out from day one. But we really shouldn't even be open. Yeah. We got really lucky that people loved our food and supported us. But I almost felt obligated. I'll just say that like we got a lot of help with getting Triple P, getting Idol, getting resources because it is so hard. There's so much different information on the news. There's so many. It's so hard to get business loans anyways. I mean, to be honest with you, like you could fill out, you could be one off on their like list of requirements, and that negates you from getting that loan, and they never tell you why. You're just denied, right? And so it was really important to us to try and get some of that so we could survive through the winter that we talked about being slow like other businesses and stuff. And so we that are here in this community that are doing the same thing as us, right? Just saving money to hopefully make it through winter because there's not going to be the students and whatever. And so when he offered me the position to help other businesses, I had to like take it because I wanted to help. Like YOLO gets overlooked. I really wanted to help our community. Like last, right? Like talk to some of these businesses, like, you know, there's I won't say which one, but there's a business here that's been here for a long time that one of the owners lost his daughter this year and is now like in a position where he's gonna potentially lose his business that he spent decades building and growing and protecting, and it's like he's now back to square one and like just trying to survive, right? And so it's like if I can help 1 out of 10 of those people, like I'll be super stoked because it means that our community doesn't have to lose some of the fixtures that, like, you know, that make it great. I mean, really, we had a barber coming out here at our restaurant today who's like, he's cutting hair till 2 o'clock, right? Because that's what he can do. Talking with one of the salon owners here, and he's doing the same thing. He's out there cutting hair because his business was essentially one of the hugest ones that be kind of regulated to a point of non-operation, right? Like they weren't allowed to operate. We see the guys from the tattoo shop, I think, basically meeting and figuring out what the hell do we do now, like every week. And so if I can help any of those businesses, if any of the businesses you work with need help, it's all free. It's sponsored by the Small Business Association, so there's no cost to the business. There's experts in e-commerce. There's, you know, which everybody has to be e-commerce now, right? Everybody's got to have a better presence online, have a way to have customers spend money online, be in marketing that I have a background in. If it's restaurants, you know, loans, there's a lot of stimulus money coming. They've only released maybe 10% of the money that's already been spent, and there's more money coming. So just navigating through that, there's free resources available to every business owner, and they don't have to pay for it. It's there's a non-disclosure agreement. You can't benefit financially from helping, that all consultants do through that. And so, you know, I'd love to help people come by the restaurant or go through you if they would like some help from a coconut shucker who knows a little bit more than just shucking coconuts. I'd be happy to help. Business plan writing, whatever. You know, we all need help, and there is nobody on a white horse, really.
That's true. So, what you're saying too is so true that right now it's more about, we're all overwhelmed, but we can all do something small, even if it's just in business. So I will continue to be following you if you don't mind.
Oh, love to.
You and see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, we really do.
Like what you're doing is very important too, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't realize that every time they go out that they're letting that small business, that family that owns that business survive a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like we're grateful for all the business we've had. Like truly people come by, put money in the tip jar and keep walking. And, like, that's the stuff that really like picks people up and is important right now because it is hard. It's hard to work so many hours. I was talking to somebody, it's like starting all over, right? And like you see like 10 people at a patio and when they're busy. Well, they have 75 seats that are normally 80% full. They're not like busy. They're struggling to make it. They just only have 10 seats that they can fill. So it's people don't understand the impact they can have on saving their community. And I think Davis has done an excellent job.
They really have.
Of like, I've literally had people like posting and tagging us in posts where they're like, we bought these gift certificates. We did this. Like the small business, the Downtown Business Association did that match program. They spent something like $100,000 was raised between the city
in like a day.
In a day. They raised it and spent it on businesses and kept people open, which is really cool. So, that's the stuff that like people that watch your show, like getting inspired to do that, helping somebody out is really cool because that's what we need to save our towns.
We'll be here and we will absolutely keep it up. So I've been talking with Rachel and Dustin Ryan. They're the owners of Zumapoke. And thank you both so much for joining me. I'll see everyone else tomorrow.
Thanks, Heidi. Take care. Bye-bye.